I remember very vividly how back in the 1970s, the Hartford region was in turmoil. It was a time of unrest and protest. And there was a climate of distrust between the city and Hartford suburbs. So there was an urgent need to develop trust, build connections, and share a common concern for the region. In response to this significant community leadership challenge, Leadership Greater Hartford was founded in 1977 with the mission of raising awareness, promoting collaboration, and developing leaders to build a stronger and more vibrant community. Now celebrating its 35th anniversary, Leadership Greater Hartford is the region's largest and most active leadership network, and its programs are nationally and internationally recognized for using community action projects to connect diverse constituencies and to build bridges of understanding within a region. By helping us all understand our common interest and shared future, Leadership Greater Hartford facilitates partnerships between government, nonprofit organizations, and small and large businesses. It bridges the divide between city and suburban residents, between young and old, between racial groups, religions, and ethnicities, between those who question what they can do and those who question what they should do. Since 1977, more than 6,000 people have accepted the Leadership Greater Hartford Challenge. This award-winning leadership development and civic engagement group continues to positively impact individuals from more than 40 communities in furthering their careers, enhancing their retirement, and developing meaningful personal and professional relationships. More importantly, Leadership Greater Hartford has empowered its program alumni to be effective leaders in their work, in their communities, and in all aspects of their lives. Leadership Greater Hartford is Hartford's champion, enhancing and showcasing what the city has to offer to all who live and work in this region. At the same time, its projects address community challenges, from basic human needs to arts and culture, from youth and education to housing and community development. 35 years and more than 100 Leadership Greater Hartford teams and projects later, Leadership Greater Hartford has become known as an effective catalyst and force for good in this community.
Leadership Greater Hartford has had an opportunity to help us with engaging our residents in developing our One City, One Plan, which is our plan of conservation and development, a plan that's been very instrumental for us in terms of prioritizing not only the wants and needs of the community, but also making sure that we have a plan that suits not just us as a city, but complements our region, because we are the capital city.
We at the Alliance are pleased to be an important colleague and partner with LGH on many initiatives in the city in helping to drive economic growth, employment growth, and really showcasing the great assets that the city and region have.
Many of Leadership Greater Hartford's accomplishments have been undertaken by program participants working in collaborative and diverse teams. Here's a look at 5 initiatives which exemplify the spirit of Leadership Greater Hartford's mission. Let's learn how each one has found a way to develop, connect, and engage diverse leaders to build strong and vibrant communities in Greater Hartford. For any region to thrive, it needs engaged, skilled young people invested in their careers and their community. And that's exactly why Access Hartford was started as a social network organized by the 1998 Quest Task Force. Today known as HYPE, Hartford's Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs, and managed by the Metro Hartford Chamber, this network has over 3,400 members, 125 corporate sponsors, and it runs more than 50 events every year.
When you get together with your Leadership Greater Hartford, you identify the areas where the community has the most need. And at the time when my team was coming together, Workforce 2000 had just been published, and everyone was concerned about where we were going and how we were going to get the youth to come to Hartford. So our team actually took that on as our issue and looked at how we were going to get the younger people in the workforce excited about being in Hartford. And we looked at the fact that they needed more time and space to network with each other.
HYPE, Hartford Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs, was actually started in 2006, so it is a pretty young organization still, and in 5 years it's grown amazingly to over 3,000 members across the Greater Hartford community, and has really stretched itself beyond maybe even what those original Quest members thought it would be back when they had a task force project that was called Access Hartford that ended up being taken on by the Metro Hartford Alliance in 2006 when HYPE was officially started as a program. We are just, moving and shaking all across Hartford with over 60 events a year, and it's just a really exciting place.
Since 1986, Common Ground has engaged almost 2,000 diverse urban and suburban youth, engaging them to grow together as tomorrow's leaders.
This was an organization that derived from the ideas of 3 organizations way back in the late 1980s. The organizations were Leadership Greater Hartford, the American Leadership Forum, and the Justice Education Center. We all wanted to do something for youth at that time. And it ended up that we came together, instead of doing this separately, we came together and outlined a program that we felt would be a sustainable program long-term. We brought together urban and suburban youth and helped them with their communication skills, with learning about each other, their values, their mores. So Common Ground was a wonderful opportunity for children to begin to know each other in diverse ways.
Common Ground has been around since 1988. Since then, we have worked with young leaders anywhere from districts of Rocky Hill all the way to Suffield. In the almost 25 years we've been running the program, we have graduated over 2,500 young leaders who are probably now all over the state and the country and maybe even the world, using the skills that they learned to better serve their own communities.
Since 2009, the Leaders on Board initiative has linked over 75 Greater Hartford nonprofits with more than 250 new board members, recruited from nearly 600 persons trained in boardsmanship by Leadership Greater Hartford.
In 2009, Leadership Greater Hartford launched Leaders on Board. Leaders on Board is a program that connects individuals who are talented and who are compassionate to local nonprofits who are looking for new members to serve on their boards of directors. Since then, we have trained over 600 individuals on board service. We have placed over 250 individuals with more than 75 nonprofits.
St. Agnes Home became involved with the Leaders on Board program a little under 2 years ago, and it's been a wonderful process for us to have the opportunity to meet with some dedicated and committed individuals who are interested in being on boards in the local community. We were able to secure 4 board members from that match process, and they've been wonderful in our organization. One of them recently actually became our vice chair of our trustee board. And so I would say that process and the program is a wonderful program that any organization would want to take advantage of.
Now a national model, the 1992 Quest Task Force's Parent Leadership Training Institute empowers parents to be agents for change for youth. More than 3,000 parents from 25 communities now advance the health, safety, and education of children thanks to this training.
I got involved in PLTI. I'd been hearing about it for years and years from people all over the state. And I was feeling very disconnected from my community. I would go to work, I would go home, I would read in the paper all the great things happening. And I really wanted to find a way to reconnect and get involved to support our children and families in the community. And so I got connected with Meriden PLTI so I could learn more about what was happening and network and find out what I could do to get involved in ways to make a difference.
I joined PLTI because being an active member in my community, I wanted to be a stronger active member. I wanted to be able to learn how to use the tools I needed to accomplish the goals I wanted to reach. PLTI taught me to use my networking skills to overcome obstacles. They gave me the tools I needed to make a difference in my community. And with that, I continue to work hard, and hopefully it will make a difference in the future in my community.
The Third Age Initiative, conceived by the 1997 Quest Task Force, engages older adults as community leaders.
Around 15 years ago, I went through Leadership Greater Hartford through Quest 1997, and we put a team together and looked at as we were getting older as baby boomers, what were we going to do? We saw a kind of a program in Japan called Living Legends. Well, actually, the older you get, the more respect you had. So we said, how do we apply that to our society? And our group put that together, and lo and behold, the end of the year, there was still more interest in it, and we've created a Third Age.
Well, the Third Age Initiative has been an amazing program. Even in its first year, we were recognized as an outstanding example of a program that makes it possible for older people to get engaged in their community. We presented at the United Nations at an international conference on volunteerism in 2001, and 6 months later went to the UN in Madrid at the Assembly on Aging to again show people around the world how this program has an impact on individuals and on the community.
You've just heard about 5 of more than 100 community building initiatives undertaken by Leadership Greater Hartford over the last 35 years. Each has made a meaningful difference by itself, but taken together, they have triggered profound and lasting changes in our community. But where is Leadership Greater Hartford going in the future? And how will it get there? Let's hear from Ann Smith, who will be chairing the 30-member board of directors over the next couple of years, and from Ted Carroll, who's been president of Leadership Greater Hartford for the last 26 years.
I think that the work of the board will be to ensure that we put the infrastructure and financial resources in place to ensure that we can continue the work of Leadership Greater Hartford in the years to come. We've gained this success by building on 5 pillars: leadership, collaboration, community, diversity, and engagement. And it's going to be important for us to continue that work.
So we are aware that there are many challenges still facing our community, but I am very encouraged by not only the projects that we've undertaken at Leadership Greater Hartford, but by a number of community efforts that have taken place over the last 35 years. They remind me that if all of us get involved, if we connect to one another, if we develop our skills and our talents, we can actually solve any problem that we face. And when we do, we'll have fulfilled the vision of our founders some 35 years ago, and more importantly, we'll serve as a guiding light, a Polaris for other communities across the country and beyond.
Leadership, engagement, community, collaboration, diversity. These are the 5 values that represent true north for Leadership Greater Hartford. They have guided the organization for 35 years and will continue to guide Leadership Greater Hartford as a vital, empowering force in this region and perhaps beyond for many years to come.